Hi again, welcome to part 2 of the user tutorial for Link Cloaker Wizard. In previous videos we've created a couple of links and I've shown you how the software does the link cloaking and proved that the software does indeed work very well. What I'd now like to cover is hot pages. So I've created an extra link here called Great Dog Training. And I've done that so I can show you how the different categories work when we go on to create a hot page. So what is a hot page? A hot page is a list of your links. It can be pasted into an email, pasted into a blog, or as a standalone web page. And the hot page generator allows us to prettify those links up, putting them in bordered boxes. We can add headers to the hot page and so on. So I'm just going to run through that now. When we first approach the create hot page, it looks a little bit daunting. There's quite a few options on there, but please don't worry, they're very simple. Okay, and we're going to go through each of those in a second. But what I want to do first of all is create an image affiliate link. Now, I didn't cover that in video 1. So I've prepared myself some notes and I'm going to create a new link called A2 Best Hosting, which I'm going to put in the hosting category, but I'm going to put it in the hosting images category, and I'll explain why in a second. I'm going to pick up my A2 affiliate link and paste it there. I'm going to call the page title A2 Best Hosting, and instead of putting hot page text, which is the anchor that would appear on the hot page, I'm actually going to use an image. So I'm going to go to A2 Hosting and look at their affiliate banners, and I quite like the looks of that one. So I'm going to right click, copy image address, and I'm going to pop that image address into there and then click image. And you can immediately see that it's wrapped the image in the appropriate code so that it will display correctly. And then I'm going to create the link. So the page refreshes, it tells me that the cloak link has been created successfully, and there indeed is my link with 0 hits at the moment. Okay, I'm now going to move on and create a hot page. Now there's various self-explanatory options here. Background colour is the background colour of the page, the bit my mouse is hovering over. Page colour is the inner of the page. We can decide a start date and an end date for when we want the actual page to be live. And then we can select our categories. I'm going to select hosting and hosting images. So I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, hopefully on this one. I'm going to give the page file name A2 Hosting. That will create a page called a2hosting.php, which I can then direct traffic to. I'm going to call the page title, so this is the bit that will appear in the browser bar, A2 Hosting. Now the page description is important. It is a meta tag, it's the meta description tag, which is great for SEO, as is the page title. So I usually open a page description with a repeat of the page title. Optimum characters are 155 for Google. It will not display more than that in the meta description tag. So you can see here there's a handy little countdown, and as you approach 155 you can temper how you display your description. A2 Hosting is the best in the world, none. Excellent. I wouldn't use that under normal circumstances, but for the purposes of the demo I'm happy with that. Now we have some options here. We can use a gradient header and a gradient footer, or we can use a header image and a footer image. In your downloaded files we've included 2 template images. One is the header image, one is the footer image, and if you're going to use those you will need the URLs. Now I've copied and pasted those into a notepad file So I'm just going to quickly pop in those two files to show you what they will do. And we can check those images to see that they display correctly, and they're fine. We will create another page and I'll show you how the gradients work. Okay, we can now choose if we want to put any text before the links. So this is my pre-link text, and if we highlight that, we can then choose a colour for it, H1 it, and so on. Now what I would do for SEO purposes, I'm going to simply copy the page title into the pre-links text, and I'm going to give it a H1 tag. For the post links text, I'm going to do the same, add a little bit, I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to wrap it in H2 tags. So there immediately I've got my title, description, a H1 and a H2 as keywords, A2 hosting. I'm going to leave the link list as it is. We can see over the help hover, this sets the width of your list of links as a percentage of the inner page size. Now the inner page size is 700 pixels, so I'm going to leave that at 90%. We can't set it at 100, and that would look odd anyway because the links would be right on the edge. We can use link boxes, but because I'm using imagery on this one, I don't want to use link boxes. But if I were to, if I select yes, I can then choose the border style for the box, whether there's a border radius, so whether it has curved corners, whether there's a drop shadow, and so forth. But I'm not going to do that on this particular page. And then use page titles and smart space, so the final two options. Instead of link names, so the names that we put in that when we created the link, we can use the page title as the anchor of the link. I'm going to click no on that one for the moment. This is only when hot text is not available. So when you were filling in the link parameters, where I've just put the image, you would have put some text, and that would have been the anchor link. So if you want, you can choose to use page titles. In this case, I'm going to leave it as it is. And smart space allows the separation of capitalized words. So if two words have a capital, this will insert a space between them. Okay, I'm going to leave that exactly as it is. Now if I were to grab raw links, I would simply get the HTML code that I can then paste into emails or blog posts, etc. Similarly with grab HTML, I get the raw HTML code which I can put into a blog post. But I'm going to write the hot page just to demonstrate some of the functionality we've got here. So that's the hot page written. It says up here a2hosting.php. Now we need to remember that link, so I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put it on a notepad file. I'm going to click here to view the hot page. That will open in a new browser tab. And you can see there we've got the header template. See there we've got the footer template. We left the background and the inner page as the default settings. So there's the image link that I've just created. And I think you'll agree that looks fine just as it is. And you can see as I hover over it, down at the bottom left of my screen is the link name, so demo A2 best hosting. If I click that link, because it was a cloaked link, it stays cloaked and my page title appears. So that's absolutely fine. If we click the A2 hosting uncloaked, you can see there it's uncloaked, and so on. So that has chosen the categories of hosting images and hosting. So those two are in the hosting category. That one is in the hosting image category. Okay, I'm going to quickly go back and create another hot page. I'm going to use the same categories, same links, etc. So create hot page. And on this one I'm going to change certain things. As you click into a colour option, you will get a colour picker. So I'm just going to choose a nice sort of the greyish, yeah. And for the page colour I'm going to leave it, actually no, we'll make that a very, very faint yellow, very faint. Bring that down, push that up to there, and you can see I've just got a hint of yellow there. So that will, the F7, F7, F2 will be this part, the FDFFE8 will be this part. You can of course enter direct hex code if you wish without the hash. I'm going to leave the start date and end date as they are, and I'm going to just pick on the hosting. So this will be text links only. I'm going to call the file name A2 hosting 2 because it's the second one I've created, and I'm just going to pop that in the page title as well, and I'm going to pop it in the page description, and I'm going to choose a gradient header, and I'm going to put my start colour as a deep, deep red, my end colour of that gradient as, shall we go for pink? We'll go for pink. Remember, this is only a demo, I wouldn't normally choose these colours. I'm going to leave the text as white, which is the 6 Fs, because these colours here have indicated I should use white. As you scroll through the colour picker, the text colour there will change, showing you that you should be using a dark text on that particular background. So as it is, I'm going to stay up there, so I can use white text. Header text, I'm just going to copy and paste in again. That will now appear over the gradient. I'm going to use a gradient footer. Now I can choose to reverse the header colours like so, or copy the header colours like so. I'm going to reverse them. I'm going to keep my text colour as it is at white, copy and paste, and just for the purposes of the demo, and my HTML tags, pre-links, I'm going to embolden that, and I'm going to highlight again, and I'm going to choose red, and you can see there it's wrapping it, but you must highlight just the text, not any of the code. And yes, I do want that as a H1. I'm then going to do similar again, so I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it in my post links text again. I'm thinking a nice maroon, and I'm going to H2 that tag. I'm going to leave everything else. Oh no, I'm going to use some link boxes, so I'm going to have some big thick borders that are dashed and have got a nice rounded corner. I'm going to put a little drop shadow on them, and the border colour I'm going to go for deep red to match the header-ish, and the back colour I'm going to go for a very, very, very slight hint of yellow. And that's it, my page is set up and I'm ready to write the hot page, and it's telling me that A2 hosting 2.php has been correctly written, so I've copied that, and I'll show you why in a second. And I'm going to click to view it. I can click to share it, and that will bring up the share boxes similar to on the links, where we can share via StumbleUpon, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook and Google+. So I'm going to click there to view it, and you can see there I've got my nice gradients, nice-ish, the A2 hosting 2 title, the A2 hosting 2 footer overlaid onto the gradients. The page inner was changed, the page background was changed, and you can see here I've got nice rounded borders on my link boxes so they stand out a bit more. Obviously you're going to take more time over this and you're going to make a really professional hot page. As you can see from that link here, that is the full link to that page. Now the reason I copied earlier, I'm going to pop in there the page I generated earlier just to show you that the software does keep the pages. So that's the 8.2 hosting page, and there it is. So as long as you remember your links, and if you don't, you can FTP into where you installed the software and you will see these pages in the folder you installed the software. So in this case it was demo, the demo directory. All these pages are listed within that directory, and then we can drive traffic to these pages and people hopefully will click on our nice links because they do not look like affiliate links. Okay, thank you very much for listening.